Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Pricing, chapter number 10, part 1. In this chapter, the learning objectives are: describe how organizational buyers look at price from a value point of view. And second learning objective is understand the most important factors in business to business pricing. Introduction. Price is the only activity marketers engage in that reduce revenue for the firm. All other marketing activities represent expenditure, while pricing managed properly can make a major difference in the firm's revenue and income. Pricing for products and services must be congruent with the rest of the marketing plan. Managing price properly also means thoroughly understanding cost as well as customers. The magic of price. Price is the only place where marketers have a chance to directly improve the bottom line. They do this by carefully pricing products for maximum profitability. Let us look at the simplified example shown in table 10.1. The magic of price. Let's look at this table. With the original price of a $10, a firm sells 1 million units for a total revenue of 10 million. The direct cost of manufacturing the product, including all of the variable cost, is $6 per unit, adds up to $6 million. Administrative costs are $3 million. In this case, as can be seen from our simple example, the profit to the firm is $1 million. Now, let us assume that the marketing vice president decides to raise the price by 5%. Therefore, the product will now be sold at $10.5. 1 million units are sold. The total revenue would be $10.5 million. The direct cost for making 1 million units remains $6 per unit for a total of $6 million, and the administrative costs also remain the same at $3 million. This example shows how a 5% increase in price results in a 50% increase. This example shows how a 5% increase in price results in a 50% increase in profit from $1 million to $1.5 million. The demand curve. The example that we have discussed previously, this example is given only to show how a small movement in price can result in very large benefits to the firm. However, this example has some obvious flaws. First, the example boldly assumes that the firm will still sell 1 million units at the same higher price. Basic economics teaches us that demand curves slope downward to the right as seen in figure 10.1. If one raises the price, the quantity sold declines. This demand curve certainly holds true for commodity products where all offerings are exactly the same, such as sand or milk. Step demand curve. However, in some consumer markets and in almost all B2B markets, the demand curve actually looks more like that shown in figure 10.2. That is step demand curve. Here we see a step demand curve. This illustrates the point that there are ranges of prices at which the demand will not change. If Our marketing director is clever enough to determine that customers are not price sensitive to a difference between $10 and $10.5. She would realize the increased revenue from changing the price. The pricing process. You can see in this figure the pricing process, the steps of pricing process. It starts with setting price objective, develop pricing strategy, determine demand, estimate cost, review competitive offerings and cost, select pricing method, establishing pricing policies, determine prices. So with these steps, a company can determine the prices of its products. So I'm going to explain these steps one by one. The pricing process. The first one, pricing objectives. Pricing objectives can be divided into three major types: profit oriented, sale oriented, status quo oriented. Profit oriented objectives include pricing to realize a target return to realize a target return on investment or to maximize profits. I repeat it again. Profit oriented objectives include pricing to realize a target return on investment or to maximize profit. While sales oriented objectives aim to increase sales either in currency or unit terms or to penetrate markets and increase share. Status quo oriented pricing includes meeting competition or choosing to compete on a non-price basis. In some cases, a firm does not have the luxury of pricing to maximize its profits, but only to survive in the face of an industry with very strong competition and overcapacity. In the pricing process, the second step, that is pricing strategy, the major factors relate to the firm: the environment, distribution channels, competitors, and customers. The firm has to consider these factors when setting a pricing strategy. Firm considerations are first the corporate objective that the firm has established. In addition, costs are critical. In this case, we mean cost not only of the product, but the cost of marketing as well, including the market entry cost of various foreign locations. One very important factor in the cost of production is where the production facility is located. So a firm can set a price strategy considering these factors. Pricing strategy development. Pricing strategy development is dependent upon firm, customer, competitor, distribution channels, environment. So a firm has to consider all these factors for developing a pricing strategy. When it comes for the firm, it means firm has to consider the corporate objectives, consider the cost, marketing program, product assortment, and when firm is to set a price, it has to give the consideration to the customer, the value in use for the customer, perception of product, company, perception of product and company, and the customer's ability to pay. And definitely, firm has to look into the competitors too. What are the offerings of the competitors? What are the prices of the customers? What are the costs of the competitors? Sorry. Competitors offering, competitors pricing, and competitors cost. Distribution channels. Definitely, distribution channel adds a cost for the customer. So, and firm has to look into the cost of the distribution channels, capabilities of the distribution channels, market possibilities in the distribution channel, and lastly, the firm has to look into the environment. For the environment, what are the government regulations, inflation situation, currency value and stability, and the situation of the economy. So, for the pricing strategy development, a company has to look into the firm condition, customer, competitor, distribution channels, environment. This holistic view can help the firm to develop a better pricing strategy. Determining demand. Customer perception of price, customer perception of cost and benefits, and price sensitive. These are the three factors. When a firm is to determine the demand, a firm has to look into these three factors. So customer perception of cost and benefits is dependent upon, when we look into the benefits, definitely benefits can be functional, and then benefits can be operational, and then benefits can be personal and relational. And then the firm has to look into the cost, acquisition cost, operational cost, and potential risk. Let's look into it. So customer price sensitivity can be dependent upon economics, search and usage, and competition. Customer price sensitivity, when it comes about economics, it means customers will be more sensitive, therefore decreasing the ability of the marketing manager to change his price. If the percentage expenditure for the particular item is large in comparison to the total expense that the customer is making to achieve a particular end. Pricing flexibility will also be reduced if the customer has to resell the product into a very competitive market. Should the item be of extreme importance to the successful operations of the customer's firm, price sensitivity will tend to decline because reliability becomes paramount in business to business market. Customer price sensitivity is also dependent upon search and usage. Customers will be more price sensitive if information search is easy and inexpensive, and competitive offerings are easily compared. In addition, the customer price sensitivity is increased substantially where switching costs are low. For example, a firm might be standardized on a particular IBM computer system. A computing manufacturer, let us say Fujitsu, offers the customer a new computer system with demonstrably better features. However, the customer would hesitate to change, knowing that the switching costs, including downtime, training, and the inevitable problems caused by such a major change, would be substantial. Price, customer price sensitivity is also dependent upon competition. Finally, price sensitivity is decreased where the manufacturer's offering is clearly differentiated from its competition, and where price perception gives an impression of quality to a particular product. Summary, what we have discussed in this part 1, we need to, here I'm going to present a brief summary of our discussion for today's part. Marketers should seek the highest possible price on the step demand curve consistent with economic production. Second, exceptions in high-tech race to next price point, each step pricing process should be followed. Pricing strategy must be developed considering firm, customer, competitor, distribution, and environmental variables. Containing profit, sales are status quo oriented. So customers weigh functional, operational, financial, and personal benefits against acquisition and internal cost and risk in determining whether a price is fair. So some customers are more price sensitive than other customers. So a company, when it comes to the price sensitivity, definitely company has to consider the factors of price sensitivity and make the strategy accordingly. Thank you. That's all for the part 1 about the pricing. Thank you.